Bureau Chief Wendy London.
The Managing Director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, our good pal Tony D. And I guess we can do this. This is the first time we've ever done this. So I've started the show over before, Tony, where I literally started the intro over before, like 10 minutes in when I had a collapse in the beginning. I haven't done that yet, but we had such a terrible first half hour where audio didn't play and people were listening that I guess we'll officially start the show with you today. How about that?
And I'm happy to do that, and good morning, and proud to be among you. Listen, Lee Elci, I'm getting a big head. I just want you to know that. A young lady came to me yesterday offering to be my agent, and when I mentioned that to Kathy, she busted out laughing. She said, if she really knew the real you, because I often think of, people come and they see you and they think, oh, wow, gee, he's really neat and whatever. And I go back to that line on The Honeymooners where Ralph Cramden was describing marriage, and he was using the analogy of Boris Karloff. And he said, well, you see Boris Karloff, he's trying to tell his presumptive brother-in-law. You see him dancing on the Late Late Show. You see him dancing on the Red Skelton Show. You think he's a great guy, but you see him on the Late Late Show playing Frankenstein. That's the real Karloff. Well, anyway, poor Kathy knows the real D'Angelo. But anyway, I told her that she'd have to see Mr. Cerruto, my agent, and they'd have to work something out.
I think you should explore this and see where it takes you. I really do. I mean, you built a legion.
I'm just proud to be providing a service to these very good people.
You built a legion of fans in a very quick time, so she may be onto something, my friend. She may be onto something. All right, where are we going today?
Well, I got a public service announcement. Remember, I was hired way back when. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this compensation rate, Lee Elci. But I was hired way back when to talk about financial commentary and things like that. In Joe Biden's America, we're going to see a more aggressive and angry IRS. For sure, it happened under Obama. Wasn't quite as bad under Donald Trump. There's a myriad of things. But if you are one of these people doing your own tax return and you get a letter from the IRS, please, don't try to do this yourself, kids. Do not. I had somebody come to me this past week after 20 years of not seeing him, who got himself, and a very intelligent, sensitive person, who got himself balled up, not knowing his rights, not knowing what he needed to do. And now he's in, I won't call it an insurmountable mess, but he does not like what I'm telling him as to what we need to do in order to do it. So do me a favor, come to me. I don't want you as a client. I want to make sure that you're getting the help you need and we get you to where you want to go. So it's just we're going to see more of it because there's an insatiable appetite for money out there. It's not going to get any better.
Now, you had mentioned it was bad during Obama. Then it sort of wasn't as bad during
not quite as bad.
Trump, but still bad, right?
Still bad, yeah, and it's the kind of thing where it's how that stuff plays down from on high. I do not know, but one of the things that we are seeing, very clearly is Biden is as much in all his Bidenness is quote unquote going to start using the IRS to get back at evil rich people. And evil rich people are people of modest middle class means.
And aren't they going to hire? I heard they're going to hire a whole bunch of IRS folks to go after this money. That's part of the plan, right?
Right. And then what happens is when you're quote unquote working this, representing people, you're dealing with people that really don't know much, and you're spending hours and hours and hours to settle the simplest things. It's unbelievable.
It's got to be frustrating. I mean, people, I've always said this, taxes are some of the most stressful times for folks who have to end up paying, even for folks who probably get a little bit back. But I mean, if you're paying, you feel like you pay all year, Tony, and then you got to pay again. I understand that there's a formula and all that goes along with that, but it can be a very stressful time for sure.
It is. It can be a whole, it's a camel. It's a horse designed by committee and lobby and things like that. And we've really seen since the CARES Act of this whole thing of using the tax code to establish a political means, and it's promulgated by people who don't understand economics and have absolutely no clue, and that really engulfs both political parties.
Well, capitalism is dying anyway in the country, so we'll all be out of a job soon.
Let's hope not. I mean, it's like we're the last hope.
It seems that way. It really does. All right, where else did you want to go today?
Boy, you talk about a ball of confusion this week, Lee Elci. I mean, I listed like 10 different things we can talk about, and it's absolutely unbelievable. And my brain, is like roadblock, gridlock, mind lock. But let's start with a little bit of Peasers and this pension fund in Pennsylvania, where the Lamont family money is invested. There's 3 developments this week that really I found to be very interesting. Federal investigation continues. It's going to real estate and housing projects and things like that, and funny money properties. And the investment managers were fired, and a new investment manager is there. And then the reason why there's pressure on that is because the board was handed bogus figures by the people who were promulgating investments. As far as people investing in the fund. Now, one thing really, really got me. There's a gentleman by the name of Thomas Tull. He's a co-owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He invested, Peasers invested $100 million in his movie deal several months before the whole Oak HCFT thing. And he turns around and immediately gives $1.5 million out to Democratic political campaigns. Now, you want me to believe that the Lamont-related crew comes around 2 months later and hands over the same $100 million, maybe not the exact same $100 million, but that increment. It's sort of like the Sopranos poker game, the 10 boxes of ziti, and they're clean as a whistle. It's like something is happening here. And then you asked me, as always, and which is really an excellent question, how does this relate to our guy in the truck or the woman behind the counter and things like that? Well, let alone our Connecticut leadership is involved in something like that there, let alone those investments are here in our pension fund. We've got, every legislator knows this is happening. Nobody's doing a bleeping thing. And then if we've got things like this, if we've got funny money, in pensions, and these pensions crater, and these things are just running with, printed money and Ponzi schemes, and they collapse, guess who pays for that? Guess what happens to our costs? You, me, thee, not we. Your ball, my friend.
I tell you, I've been watching a lot of your tweets. You've been, getting a good follow.
I've been a good little bird.
Yeah, no, but you're getting a good little follow, a little back and forth with all this stuff. And I did notice, and the one question I wanted to ask you today, have we made any headway with anything, anywhere? I mean, I know, we got the column out there. We've got a couple of, the Hartford Courant ended up following up something that you had done and said, but there's really little movement in any of this, as if it's just the game is going on and nobody seems to care about that, right?
Well, that's a very clever PR thing. It's the kind of thing like, look at Andrew Cuomo and the whole thing with the women. The fact of remaining stoically silent, we really don't think about that now. We talk about, as you were this morning, about, the school teacher acting ugly, being stopped by the very polite. There's always something else to take our brains off of it. But no, we don't hear. But yet it's the kind of thing that I was telling a bunch of kids yesterday in my discussion group. No Ponzi scheme lasts forever because it cannot. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of suckers and you're going to run out of money. It's simple as that and just as difficult. I have to tell myself, give it patience, give it time. It'll happen. It just doesn't happen on our time frame.
Tony D'Angelo is with us. Every once in a while, Tony, when we're here, we get some folks who want to call in. You want to try to grab a call real quick, see what they got to say? All right, real quick, we'll see what we go. We'll roll it out there and see what kind of morning we're going to have today. Good morning. You're on with Tony D'Angelo. Who's this?
Oh, my God. Hi. I wasn't really calling to talk to Tony. Sorry.
All right, thanks. I guess we'll get you back on down the road. See, this is one of those mornings. I'm going to throw a grenade into the studio.
Hey, listen,
I'm going to start over.
Okay. Rock and roll, my friend. Anyway, we got this whole thing, and I'm just going to go really quickly on this. We got this whole thing of mess and garbage and whatever the case may be. Actually, you know something? This is a much bigger thing that's developing. I'm going to save this for next week in the interest of time, because what we're not doing here in the state, what we're not exercising in fiduciary responsibility, what people in office against this should be doing and aren't. I mean, I believe me, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, scream, or throw up. It's unbelievable.
Well, let me ask you, while we're talking about this, sort of to go back and forth, I don't mean to go back to the beginning here, but just because of taxes being right around the corner here, let me ask you about the state of Connecticut. Anything changed? Folks need to know about that here.
Not on a global sense. You know, it's funny, when we're doing the returns in New York, Andrew Cuomo, pretty much as an ire towards Trump. When Trump zigged, he zagged. So you have to be very mindful that the changes in New York are opposite to what the federal government did, and it's all political. But no, for the most part, you know, with little nuanced things, it really continues to be a parallel thing. It's more of a thing, I think, where they're just looking to raise rates and broaden bases and, you know, kill homeowners and all these things Connecticut is so well known for.
Yeah. I gotta admit, I gotta thinking this is more of a, you know, personal you level. It's got to be like the most crazy time of year for you, right?
It is and it isn't. I mean, it's the kind of thing where, well, I'll tell you one thing. The bureaucratic frustration gets worse and worse and worse, going back to where we were in the beginning. It is so difficult these days to get the simplest things done. You can't assume anything anymore, like as far as sanity. And I just think basically it's this whole thing of just running something against somebody and creating an assessment that doesn't exist. I've got like 4 or 5 of these things right now, to the point where you throw your arms up and say, okay, here's the money. It's the movie Body Heat. Government is using its incompetence as a weapon against citizens.
I like that line. That's a good one.
No doubt about it.
That's a good one. All right, so folks want to follow you on Twitter. Where do they go?
Tony D'Angelo 7.
All right, brother. Listen.
And, I'll run my mouth every once in a while.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, pal.
All right,
Take
pal.
care.
You too. Tony D. All right. He's right on time. We'll come right back in just a couple seconds. Bob Lazari. I think I may have to blow the studio up with the phone lines and everything.